Right, thank you so much for staying tuned. This is News Analysis live on Politics and Business TV. The federal government has said that it has no plan to host foreign military bases within its borders. The Minister of Information, Mohammed Idris, described as false alarm suspicion among observers that the government was considering approving military bases for the U.S. and France following their ejection from neighbouring Niger Republic. A group of northern leaders had withdrawn an open or written an open letter to President Bola Tinubu asking him to tread with caution over the alleged signing of a defense pact with the U.S. or the French government. According to media reports, putschist in Niger, who carried out a military coup last year, ordered both French and U.S. troops to leave the West African country. Now, while France has since announced the withdrawal of its troops from Niger, the U.S. has also withdrawn most of its troops. There have since been concerns in Nigeria that the two Western powers were mounting pressure on Nigeria to host the bases. However, the Minister of Information, Mohammed Idris, stressed that while the federal government is not in any such discussion with any foreign country, Nigeria already enjoys foreign cooperation in tackling ongoing security challenges, adding that the president remains committed to deepening these partnerships with the goal of achieving national security objectives of the Renewed Hope agenda. Neither the U.S. nor France has publicly stated any plan to request Nigeria to host their military bases. Joining me now to discuss this is Saliu Mahmoud Dantata. He is a security analyst and he joins us live via telephone this afternoon to discuss this. But we'll take a quick break. We'll be back in a moment where the conversation will begin in earnest. Do join us again. Right, welcome back from that break. Comrade Saliu Mahmoud Dantata, he is live on the phone. Good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Right, the federal government has come out to, dismiss the fears and concerns of Nigerians and also, observers, with regards to the speculation that there are pressure rather on the federal government, to establish French and U.S. military bases in Nigeria. But as a security analyst who knows its onions, are there indications that the U.S. and France actually plan to enforce its military base in Nigeria despite, the dismissal?
Well, since the eviction of the African command of U.S. military base in Niger, aftermath of the military coup, the U.S. was trying to reposition where it will re-establish its command. And Nigeria, seen as the closest country to Niger, was, speculated to be a point of interest. But yesterday, a senior defense official of the U.S., military came out to disregard and disseminate and as well dismiss the rumor that they never at any time planned to establish African command of U.S. military base in Nigeria. So where then did the information emanate from? And again, even the Nigerian defense authorities and Nigerian government did not categorically come out to say whether they had an agreement with the U.S. government to relocate their evicted military base in Niger to Nigeria. So these in whole, with the submission of the U.S. top defense official, I think it should be seen as a rumor. Sometimes rumors emanate, but notwithstanding, don't also forget there were certain agitations by especially Northern Elders Group because they were saying the military base was to be established in northern states of Kebbi or Sokoto, where they categorically read riot act to the federal government that in no Nigeria amounts to undermining our security, our sovereignty, and we as well expose a lot of things regarding our internal security, which, when you look at, is the fact, because globally, the moment a foreign military base is sighted in your country, you no longer have secrecy of intelligence or security.
All right, comrade, let me jump in real quick. Although the federal government has, tagged all of this suspicion as, it has actually tagged it baseless. It's just a rumor. However, it's even good that you made reference to what the Northern elders, had said. That goes to tell you that they were privy to first-hand information to even know that the military bases, would have been, set up somewhere in Kebbi State. And it is also, a common knowledge that when people say that there is sense in every nonsense, but then it all speaks to the fact that Nigerians have doubt, especially when it comes to trusting, what the government, is saying to the masses. However, why does this ring a bell in the first place?
Come again, please.
Why does this whole, argument, why does it ring a bell? Why is it raising so much dust? Why is it, something of utmost concern to Nigerians? You talked about,
most of the time they say there is no smoke without fire.
Right.
And don't forget, this is not the first time that a lot of official security documents get leaked up from the presidential villa and other, establishments of the government. And we know we have freedom of information in the system where whatever decision you are taking has to go through the two chambers of the National Assembly, that is the House of Reps as well as the Senate respectively. So it is very possible before this rumor came to be, there might be leakage of these confidential documents, because ordinarily, I don't think even if somebody lacks what to do, will just wake up and say, no, there was the intention of the UB iota of truth in the insinuation and in the allegation made by certain social security groups, northern-based organizations, and also others, which I think. So I think when we approach it holistically, there is iota of truth in it. And this is not the first time the federal government is denying certain issues. At the end of the day, you find out the issues they get denied for. It's true. And don't also rule out nepotism and self-centered interest, because our type of democracy is a democracy where certain people or certain seats fails. Once their interest is satisfied, then the rest can go to hell. So that is what I feel. So I don't completely feel or think that the rumor should be dismissed. There was an outer of maybe because of the pressure, they now decided to make a kind of U-turn in order for tension not to increase.
All right, talk us through the possible implication of these countries establishing a military base in Nigeria. Earlier, you talked about, exposing, Nigeria's security structure. But then, do you not think that having these military bases in Nigeria would further enhance, security in the country?
How has America, as a country, ever assisted any country to fight terrorism or war? Look at countries like Somalia that have today become failed states. America contributed to that, with due respect to them. Look at Libya. So if the command was going to be of Nigeria, so I think we will have seen examples from countries I mentioned. So in a way, it completely undermines the security of any country, because automatically your intelligence network, your security network, your defense network will be exposed. Because for any independent and sovereign nation to engage in foreign military amounts to, putting your entire intelligence network on exposure list. And I don't think it is of any advantage, rather disadvantage. Even though we are facing certain skeletal insecurity, I think at this time it is needed.
But comrade, when it comes to technological advancements, be it in the form of arms and ammunition or, gathering intel, there are concerns that Nigeria is lagging behind, and most often than not, security analysts, have come out to, even compare Nigeria to other developed, countries. You cannot rule out the United States of America, in terms of how swift they get or can get when they want to nip in the bud any issue that poses, security concerns to them. I don't know, lessons or, gains that could be possibly recorded if there is some sort of, engagement or partnership with this military bases, aside the concerns or fears that, the security structure of the country would be compromised by having these, foreigners based here.
Well, I think the whole issue is one. There is no way the establishment of African Command will either give us armament, modern equipment, or what have you. Don't forget, every country has its own sovereignty, and Americans' establishment of their own command is for their own interest, to safeguard their interests. And like I told you, in many countries where they have done that, the countries have not added good. And don't forget, it was the same America that said Nigeria was going to split in 2015. What happened? We are still together. So the establishment of the military command purely is going to be mined by their own officers and personnel. There is not going to be involvement of either Nigeria, Army, Navy, or Air Force. So as such, our best bet is to say no to it. And don't forget, terrorism and insecurity is not peculiar to Nigeria alone. There are many other countries that are also facing it. So I think by ourselves, we can do it gradually. We can do it. That is why we have our independence. That is why we have our sovereignty. So no matter what, it is only Nigerians that can solve Nigeria's problem alone. Don't forget, during Abacha administration, 5.5 years there were sanctions by foreign countries. We still had it good. In fact, that was the best time we had security ever, where he said if there is, a breach of security that exceeds 48 hours, it has government involvement. 5.5 years of late General Sani Abacha, even though with sanctions by United Nations, by America, by Britain, by France and others, we maintained security where we had strike force, combination of joint task force of police, army, navy, air force and others. And so whatever happens in nook and crannies of the country, they knew. So it means solution to our internal security problem lies with Nigerian security and not foreign. So AFRICOM command is for their own interest to protect their own and for them to have more stake. This is all I have to say.
All right, Commissario Dantata, thank you so much for that insight. But before I let you go, your colleagues, who also happen to be security analysts, one cannot really mention their names because we have a handful of them. At some point, they said that it appears Nigeria is already overwhelmed, in the fight against insecurity. And somehow, some of them had actually called for, collaboration. External collaboration. Do you think that would be the right way to go as it stands? We're putting AFRICOM aside now. What are your thoughts on this?
It's not true. Let me give you examples. Constitutionally, internal security lies with the police. The military, army, navy, air force are just assistants. And we are being hypocritical. For example, in the police, we have the various specialized squads. We have IGP, Intelligence Response Team, Tactical Squad. We have Force CID. We have SPU. We have border police, marine police. We have mobile police and also others. Are they funded to meet up internal security? No. We used to know in this country when Abakari, Deputy Commissioner of Police that is now incarcerated, was in charge of IRT, how they single-handedly fought kidnappers and also others. But at the end of the day, we compromise, and that man today is in jail, even though it remains a legal issue. What I'm trying to say, let us capacitate the police force. Do you know now, like the intelligence response team, special tactical squad and other specialized squad, even if they have to go for operations in the bushes, sometimes they don't have much funds to do it. Then the people that are having it best are members of the armed forces. The way the federal government is announcing resources to the army, air force, maybe look at even yesterday, the army got delivery of some armored carriers, dredge armored personnel carriers. How many of these have you given to Nigerian police force? Like I told you, they have the larger, specialized squads. I mentioned, intelligence response team can also contribute to fighting armed banditry, kidnapping, special tactical squad, as well as others. Are they funded? Even with the police equipment fund, waiting to be regarding internal security, you must equip your police. And so far, corruption has stopped even the police from getting to where it's supposed to, because even the little resources they give to them, the higher echelons embezzle it. So that is why we've been calling for a restructuring of the police and the entire security architecture in order for them to be efficient.
All right. Well, the conversation is still ongoing, and though our views and counter views are still trailing it, we wait to see how it will pan out, for the interest of, the masses. But Comrade Salihu Mahmoud Dantata, security analyst, thank you so much for talking to us today.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
That's it for news analysis today, but I must state very clearly that the views expressed by my guests were not influenced by Politics and Business TV. I'll be back in a moment with the news update. I am Omoife Peace Osemere. Good afternoon.